Every proposition is either true or false, not both and not neither one. If it's a proposition, then it could be true or false. Like here's a proposition. Proposition R says she's dressed like Princess Leia. She's dressed like Princess Leia is a proposition because it's a statement that can be true or false. We want to know the truth value of that statement. Is it true or is it false? That's what the truth value is. The truth value of proposition P could be true or false. The truth value of any proposition can be true or false. So falsity is a truth value. When we're asking what is the truth value of proposition W, we're saying is W true or is W false? So a truth value, there's two options, true, false. Falsity is a truth value. Truth is a truth value. Every proposition must be true or false, cannot be both, cannot be neither. And there's two options, true or false. When you put P, which is a proposition, together with H, which is another proposition, and you get this compound proposition, that's your and symbol, that A without the line is a conjunction. This says P and H. That compound proposition is a proposition. And every proposition is either true or false, not both, not neither. That means that P and H, as a compound proposition, has a truth value. And the truth value of the proposition P and H depends on the truth value of P and the truth value of H. H could be true or false. P could be true or false. So what are the combinations you could make? Well, if they're both true, that's one thing that could happen. But they could both be false. That's another thing that could happen. Or one could be true and the other one is false. So here's a case, the second line, where P is true and where H is false. Here's another case, this third option, where P is false, but the proposition H is true. So there's 4 different scenarios that you get when you have 2 propositions. Because each proposition could be true or false. And since you want to put those combinations together, you end up with 4 options. Where they're both true, where they're both false, or one is true and the other one is false. There's 2 different ways to do that because there's 2 different propositions. But we can put those together and we can ask, what is the truth value of the compound proposition P and H? The truth value of the compound proposition, there's going to be 4 scenarios. There's one scenario in which the proposition P and H is true. And that's when P is true and H is true. But if you have those other scenarios, for example, if P is false and H is false, then that compound proposition P and H is false. If P is false, or if H is false, or if P and H are both false, then the truth value of the compound proposition P and H is false. Here is an example to go over the value of P and H. Let P represent the proposition pizza is here, and let H represent the proposition that I am hungry. It could be true that pizza is here. It could be false that pizza is here. It could be true that I am hungry. It could be false that I am hungry. Every proposition has 2 options. But when we put them together, maybe they're both true, maybe they're both false, maybe one's true, maybe the other's true, but the compound proposition that P and H, meaning the idea that pizza is here and I am hungry, gets its own truth value. Because that logical operation and is telling us to put these 2 together. There's only one scenario where P and H is true. And that's the scenario where P is true, pizza is here, and H is true, I am hungry. If it's not true that H, if it's not true that I am hungry, then it's not true that I am hungry and pizza is here. If it's not true that pizza is here, then it's not true that pizza is here and I am hungry. If it's not true that pizza is here, if it's not true that I am hungry, then it's not true that pizza is here and I am hungry. So having this logical connective and putting together the atomic proposition P, pizza is here, with the proposition H, I am hungry, gives a whole new idea. And the whole new idea has its own truth value. So truth values include falsity, because if a proposition is false, then its truth value is false. And then compound propositions have their own truth values. Atomic propositions have their own truth values. Every proposition is either true or false, not both and not neither. Or it's not a proposition. Maybe it's just a statement. Like here's not propositions. They don't have truth values. Run doesn't have a truth value. It's not true or false. So it's not true and it's not false. Am I entertaining? Not a truth value. There's no truth value. It's not true. It's not false. Propositions can be true or false, and they all have a truth value. If it doesn't have a truth value, it's not a proposition.